the U.S. government had any involvement in 9/11?
I'd have to say that's a tough one because a lot of like conspiracy theories have solid backing behind it. For instance, like jet fuel can't melt steam pipes and all that, which does make sense. And I know I read about a lot of people that exchanged their stocks and liquidated the money right before the attack, and others that didn't even show up to work that day at all, and it was like too many people to be just a regular coincidence. So I think there might have been like strings behind it. Plus, like Osama bin Laden was part of the CIA, and America is actually like really messed up, especially with its like interaction with the outside world. America's really hated from the outside world because like we always involve ourselves in stuff that doesn't concern us. But in regards to your question, I think that it's highly probable. But as for the solid, I think that, yeah, I would have to say that the government did have something to do with it.
Do you believe the United States government had any involvement in the 9/11 attacks and why?
No, because it wouldn't make sense to do that.
Do you believe the United States government had any involvement in the 9/11 attacks and why?
Yes, I do believe the government was involved, but I don't think they were the ones that actually like planned it or anything. I just think that they had prior knowledge of it and they didn't do enough to stop the attacks. So while they aren't outright involved in it, they didn't do anything to prevent it as much as they should have.
Do you believe the United States government had any involvement in the 9/11 attacks and why?
No, because why would they want to do that to their own country?
Okay, Riley, do you believe that the U.S. government had any involvement in the 9/11 terrorist attack?
I don't think the U.S. government had a role in the 9/11 attacks, but I think that they could have done more to prevent it. And I think that they wouldn't allow that many people to die like that.
I do not believe the United States had any involvement in the 9/11 attacks.
Okay.
I believe it was a attack on our country by a terrorist organization. I don't think the United States could have had any involvement because what benefit would it have had to the United States or its citizens if that was true, and thousands of innocent Americans were killed, so why would any United States authority have the audacity to do that? Another reason I don't believe that the United States could have had any involvement in it is because there were foreign influences to the attacks, and I don't think that the United States would have had contact with anyone that they deem dangerous to our country.
I'm not convinced that the United States government directly was involved in the events leading up to and the ultimate terror attack of September 11th, but the official story that's presented by the federal government has significant holes in it. We've never gotten a real answer as to why Tower 7 fell. There are also other questions as to the remains of the victims were found, like how come their bodies were completely destroyed, but their passports were not. So there are significant questions that remain about that. Particularly, even like the towers that did fall, they were constructed in such a way that they were not supposed to fall if they were hit by an airplane. They were specifically actually had reinforcements to that end. So there are questions that abound. I'm not certain as to whether the U.S. government was directly involved, but I think there'll be questions out there for a while about that, though.
Hi, Dejanir. What are some of the conspiracy theories that you heard about 9/11, and do you believe any of them?
Some of the theories were that like it was set up. I personally don't believe any of them. I don't think anyone in the U.S. set up 9/11. Definitely not the president. I feel like that was one that like a lot of people heard.
Have you heard the theory that they let it happen or they took part in it because they needed something to make it easier for them to go to war with Iraq and Afghanistan, that was going to use as like leverage with like the people and the public for reasons to go to war?
I don't think that is a conspiracy theory that I've personally heard of. Not exactly that. Like not that it was used basically as like motive for war. No.
Hi, my name is Chloe. Thank you for letting me interview you today. State your name, please.
Raisha Glenn.
All right, thank you, Raisha. What are some of the conspiracy theories that you've heard about 9/11?
One conspiracy that I've heard was that the U.S. government allowed these attacks to happen on our people because they wanted a reason to invade Iraq and Afghanistan.
Do you think that's a logical reason, a logical conspiracy theory?
I think it could be logical, but I don't think that it happened.
So you think the U.S. had nothing to do with it and it was all Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what if I told you that in class you learned that the U.S. knew that attack was going to happen, they just didn't know what, or like when it was going to happen, or like who was involved, but they had like some reason to believe that something was going to happen, that there was an attack going to happen soon?
Yeah, I believe that the American government conceals things that they know, so that's definitely possible, and they probably did have information about it. They didn't know when or where, but they probably could have stopped it.
I'm Shane. I'm a health science major and I'm a junior. And I don't think the U.S. government was involved because the Taliban took responsibility.
Alright, Carl. Do you believe that the US government had any involvement in the 9/11 terrorist attacks?
I don't know. I think the government has nothing to do because first reason it's already a fact, so we cannot do anything to heal the 911 back 2001.
Yeah.
Yes, and then maybe just according to what you said, the media is not true, but I think it's not true to America citizens. Because on the one hand, they really don't hope that people work in the building dead, and the other reasons is but I think the media is half right, because maybe the people who the country for the pilot hope that talented people die because they want to stop American development.